Hi, thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you guys had a lovely session so far. And I would like to thank my entire gratitude to the entire Audio Developer Conference team for letting me speak. So I'm really excited to present our ongoing research. It's about adaptive acoustic software for instrumental music, which can be used as hardware, products, and other kind of accessories. So for today's keynote, we have divided it into four different parts. So first we go through the company overview and what we do, and then we go for the acoustic software introduction and our research and approach and utility and use cases. And these are the primary sections, and last is the conclusion. Moving on with the company overview and what we do. So we are an experimental culture-driven brand. And we started off as a record label publishing works with ambient and experimental music artists across the world. And soon we realized we need to do much more events and stuff with them. And this went on for a while. We were doing events and stuff. And we started initiating research projects. And then we moved on to creating something more dedicated, so that we can make this a space where a lot of artists can connect with each other as well. They can network, and we can create a economy and a thriving ecosystem of products and solution in the realm of music, art, and technology. So what we did first was like we built our own streaming platform, which was exclusively for the ambient and experimental music artist. So, like if you look at any other streaming platforms like Spotify or Apple Music or any other major ones, they are like a marketplace, where people from any genre are putting their catalog up there, and maybe like the experimental artist or the ambient music artist, they are not specifically heard. Like their voice is not heard out there, since it's a marketplace. So we wanted to create something very dedicated, and that's when we started to nurture this artist as well and create much more a community, like where we can make the connection between a fan and an artist so that the exposure is much more amplified in that community itself. And now moving on, so to the acoustic software introduction. So what this project is like, it's an adaptive psychoacoustic model that is designed for audio data for high fidelity instrumental music, which contains no lyrical attributes. Well, this is based on the idea of Brian Eno, who is a pioneering musician in this category. He once quoted like, I wanted to get rid of the element that had been considered essential in pop music, the voice. So another technical analogy that I've drawn over here is like most of the audio codecs are non-adaptive. That doesn't mean like they don't adapt to the kind of genre you're listening to. Like suppose if it's a pop music or if it's like hip hop, it's like very rigid. The way they are currently structured is like there is no flexibility or room for different kind of genres adjustments. And they're fixed for the entire range of musical frequency and sound, like what is audible for the human ears. So we wanted to establish new standard, like overall create something groundbreaking that we can help these kind of niche artists, like along the footsteps, who are following along the footsteps of Brian Eno, as well as other working artists in the film, as well as gaming soundtracks, etc. We'll dive into it in my later slides. So here comes a little technical side of things. Like I'm showing here equal loudness contour graph on the right hand side, and on the left there is a description. So if anybody asks today, like what is the entire music that humanity has created falls under instrumental music, the answer is like 60 to 70% music that has been created by the entire humanity is like in instrumental ambient music. There is no lyrics or voice, whatever. So, despite that, there is no dedicated acoustic software or codec designed to enhance this specific range of frequencies. So, as music evolves, we are again seeing like the appreciation for instrumental sound, whether it's in like the soundscape textures or be it in a club environment where there is like high tech beats and really hard techno. So there also like lyrics doesn't come into play. Maybe like there can be a little overhead of lyrics, but it's primarily drum and synthesizer and these kind of driven sounds. So now when we look at this equal loudness contour graph, there is a very interesting thing to note: the voice frequency band. So this band is like, there is like the human voice is from 3 to 4 kilohertz, or maybe like, see, 300, it spans. It changes from female voices as well as male voices. There can be baritones, different kind of, but anyway, what we have noticed over here, the peak sensitivity is around 2 to 4 kilohertz. That's where the peak sensitivity lies. And again, like I said in my previous slide, there is no codec out there or no software out there who is optimizing this specific zone. So that is where we are coming into play to create something really groundbreaking. And we see a need of the hour, in a way. So because a lot of the musicians, they would love to have something like this in order to enhance their music, in order to enhance the listening experience. It can be a huge, diverse thing, like where we can discuss much more. But anyway, just to be a little bit more technically sound, so studies indicate like the instrumental music enhances our cognitive abilities. Like it's hands down. And as I end the slide, like on learn an instrument, then it might get easier to learn everything else. So there you go. Now, again, this is also a little technical graph. So over here on the x-axis, we have the frequency once again, and on the y-axis, we have the amplitude. And the warmer colors represent the higher amplitudes, and the cooler colors represent the lower amplitude. So this is like typically a heat map we have extracted from an audio file. And we are representing here like how different bands, like I talked about my voice frequency band in the previous slide. So over here, we are analyzing that from an audio track. We are getting all the audio data, and then we are splitting them into different color bands to understand how the voice frequency is affecting the overall response of the audio. And why is this necessary? Like, why is this required? Because that's what we are here to change. Our research and approach, I'm going to dive into this now in a little bit more detailed manner. So at present, we are developing a codec that optimizes this 2 to 4 kilohertz range, which is, like I said, the sweet spot for human frequency spectrum. But we have reimagined it for instrumental music. And our goal primarily, again, is to enrich this range, giving listeners more immersive and refined auditory experience. This is like a primary goal, like make the most high fidelity sound possible using the codec. So we have mapped out the key frequency behaviors, analyzed how timbre, harmonics contribute to instrumental sound. And here is the overview of our process in the next slide. So we start by analyzing the audio data. We extract the key audio elements such as genre, scale, tempo, tonality, different parameters that we can get from an audio file. And this allows the listener's experience to optimize to the specific characteristic. Like once we have all this data, we can use this data to process and fine tune the audio as per the track requires. And this is the first step, like signal analysis. Before we apply the processing tools, we have to analyze the signal down to its very core. Like we have to get all the fundamental properties from the sound. And once we got that, so over here we are using our provisional patented algorithm. We apply cutting edge processing techniques. This is like very, 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 I mean, in a way, it's very new age and cutting edge. Yeah, that's exact word I would say. So that's why we have the provisional patent on this as well. And again, our primary goal is to optimize this 2 to 4 kilohertz range, which is the most sensitive, and elevate the listener's experience of the instrumental sound. Now moving on to the frequency response after EQ. So here you can see again a plot of the amplitude and the frequency. We have the frequency on the x-axis, we have the amplitude on the y-axis. And as you can see, like the blue dotted lines are for the vocals before EQ and continuous line after EQ. And for red dotted lines, it's just instruments before EQ. Red continuous lines after EQ for only instruments. So over here, we have got a plot to understand how the algorithm is actually working, and how the EQ optimization that we have in place is working for different tracks and different scenarios. Because every sound is pretty unique in their own ways. So we have to keep all these factors in our mind when we apply such techniques to our audio. And lastly, we have the step 3 where we integrate AI, because see, like I was saying, like every other sound data is pretty much very unique. Even though we are trying what like in our algorithms, what we have been doing is like we have been processing album, like batch processing, so that the entire album gets processed. But that's the reason we are incorporating the AI into the audio data, so that even though like I mean, it's much more convenient for us to do batch processing because of the huge sound library and stuff, but it's still, we cannot ignore the factor that each track is pretty different. So that's why we want to take the help of AI, because they do much more better job than human does in some ways. So we want to have a interplay between the human and AI. So at the same time, we are trying to have a little human intervention and letting AI do some of the job, so that there is like this kind of balance between the music as well as human music, as well as that's not totally AI. So yeah, that's a topic for another debate. Anyway, moving on. So what would be the potential utility and use cases? So we have considered like a lot of different kinds of utility and use cases for such a codec and such an algorithm out there. Here are a few ones. So this kind of unique software can be used by many artists and collaborators, sound designers, record labels, who are working primarily with ambient, classical, and a vast array of experimental music. Then again, this is ideal for AR and VR environments and installations where immersive soundscapes are required, So this is unlike anything that's pop music, like wherever there is no lyrical attributes, we can use this codec to drive a much more impactful sound. That's the end result. And then again, like we are also doing this high fidelity streaming platforms. So this is perfect for niche streaming platforms that can deliver pristine sound to listeners, like I discussed, setting a new standard in ambient and experimental music streaming. Like example, like iTunes did it pretty many years ago, when they had mastered for iTunes kind of thing. So even Dolby, we can have somewhat as a close competitor of our algorithm, but they are doing for cinema and stuff, but not specifically instrumental once again. So another application was like wearable devices and IoT. So our software and codec can provide a unique, high quality experience in wearables and IoT devices, catering to audiophiles and professionals, as well as film scoring, game audio. For the composers, the codecs quality and flexibility could translate intricate details. Again, like these are important because we really want to have a very immersive quality attribute to our end result, where when a listener is listening to any kind of audio that has been processed with our algorithms and codec. And yeah, I mean, this is the overall project, like the need of the hour calls for such a project, because all musicians are nowadays, like mostly the DJ artists and stuff in the clubs and everywhere, we could use such such codecs, like what Dolby did or mastered for iTunes did a few years back. We could have something like that native, not something as like a mastered version of a track, but rather as a native approach for the sound designers in place in order to elevate the overall experience. Yeah, that's the primary goal for us as a company. And yeah, this is the last slide. So let's experience together how different genres, whether it's ambient, electroacoustic, or even DIY instruments, yeah, this is perfect for classical or DIY instruments. Like the market is growing for DIY instruments nowadays. Let's see how like the algorithm response, and again, it's AI based. So as we process and as we get more data, it's gonna improve its efficiency and stuff. So, like, I want to conclude this in a way, like, let's make this a conversation, not just another session or presentation, And I would like all of you to reach out to us and discuss any kind of collaboration opportunities or research you want to do with us. You can even download our app on App Store and Google Play, or sign up for our newsletters and stay notified with our updates. Here are all the details in the screen. I hope you had an amazing time with this session and you got to learn some exciting and interesting news, So I hope you had a good time.